Zoe, welcome to the Kerner Report. We got you live from the United Kingdom, the
From the
UK,
UK.
in Bristol. How far away is Bristol from London?
It's about, I think, like an hour and a half, 2 hours ish.
And how can you get there for the people who want
Well,
to visit you? Or you
there's
just
like
want to show off your location?
there's
Go ahead.
trains and stuff, and you can like drive. Obviously, it's a
Right.
pretty like small country, so it's very funny because my family lives on the other side of the country, and that's like
Hmm.
less than 5 hours away.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So it's
Compared to the US.
like the width of the UK is the size of like less than California.
It's close to London. It's not that far away.
So I was also wondering, because I mean, I was looking at the news a little bit, but how is I know that they put in a second, is it technically a second round of lockdowns?
Not the same as it was the first time,
Yeah.
but people here don't. It's from what I've kind of experienced with like seeing everything going on here, and then also like seeing how people are treating it in the US. Like, of course there are people who aren't, everyone's treating it differently, but in general people don't wear masks the same here and stuff. Masks were mandatory for in stores and stuff like that a lot later than it was in the US, so the numbers are going back up. So they're putting in, they're making the rules a bit more strict. So if you get fined for breaking the like minimum amount of people that are allowed in a room and stuff like that, you get like like pretty high fines and stuff like that. It's different in the sense of people are kind of just a little less like, no one's going doing the whole crazy like my right as a citizen, that whole
Yeah.
thing. But
Hmm.
at the same time, like when you're in the store, a lot of people aren't wearing masks, and walking down the street, nobody's wearing a mask, like that type of thing. And
Are there a lot
um,
of cases though?
I, I mean, per capita, I think it's pretty high, but it's a small country. It's not that big of a country, so
Hmm.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a like a like a castle type place.
Oh, because there's so many of those in the UK, right?
Yeah, of course. And nobody was wearing masks, nobody was socially distancing. Like it was it's kind of interesting.
It's a very different vibe over there.
Yeah.
I was looking at my next question. um, your college path is different than most people
Yeah.
in
It is.
the in our from our grade graduating
Well,
from high
I
school.
feel like everywhere.
And
So,
is it yeah, yeah.
yeah. But
Um, I was just wondering, how is college different than the UK? Because I've heard that like when you're in high school, you like get to pick like what subjects you want to focus on, and
their
then you
whole
go. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
their whole schooling system's completely different because you start high school when we're in seventh grade. I'm pretty sure. So you
Oh,
go to high
interesting.
school around then, and then you end high school when you're like 16, and then you go
Mm-hmm.
to college. You're 18 or like 17 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's a lot more like independent on the um like the classes that you take and stuff like that. And then you go to university. But it's interesting because I always call it college. Like you go to high school in the US and then you go to college, and like there are universities and colleges, but they're kind of like the
This,
same
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You're two completely different things. But yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's mandatory now, but when my mom was going to school here, like high school and college here, going to college wasn't mandatory, so you could technically leave school at 16. um so yeah, it's just a bit different. I think it's a little bit more
Mm.
like relaxed in that front. But
Right. A while ago when we were talking, you mentioned that I think it was your cousin or your aunt or someone or maybe a friend that you know that is a pharmacist and she didn't go to college.
my
Your
cousin did that.
cousin.
So there's the other thing that is really interesting. The difference between the two is, um if you don't want to go to university here, you can do apprenticeships.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that with different like, I haven't looked that much into it, but you can do it with a lot of different companies where they have apprenticeships instead of like, oh, you have a university degree, great, like we'll hire you. You just go straight into that. So yeah, my cousin's she's not a pharmacist, but she works in a pharmacy,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get like your different, I don't know that much about it, but you can get different like licenses and stuff like that without actually going to university. So there's a lot more opportunity in that front. I feel like than the US, it's kind of like if you don't have a degree, a lot of fields won't, you know what I mean?
Won't be
Hire
available. Yeah.
that. So that's cool because, university's not for, or college isn't for everybody. And,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of going down this path of like, you know, now like as people, it, you know, as the time goes on, it's becoming this thing of if you don't have a degree, then you're kind of, I mean, you have to have a really clear idea about what you want to do and how you want to achieve it.
Right. So what are you thinking about with
Well,
college, the plan?
yeah, I was gonna go this year.
Right.
Because I moved here, I was like, I'm gonna decide if I want to go to university in the UK or the US.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like, you know, kind of beginning like March, April-ish. I was
Hmm.
like, you know, I think I want to go back to the US and then I think I'm gonna come back here for graduate school. But COVID happened and I can't come back. So it's not really going according to plan, but that's okay. I'm gonna definitely go to college next year. Trying to figure out if it's gonna be in January or
Have you
next,
thought
but
about, sorry, have you thought about doing online school?
I've thought about it. It's really just not what I want to be doing.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
I'm paying for education, I'd rather like at this point it makes more sense for me to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially because you know with theater it's just kind of like you're not really getting your money's worth with any of that.
Right, that especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
but that was the other thing. I moved here. I was like gonna do some, you know, theater in the UK. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna like work at a bunch of theaters, build my resume up a little bit, and then you know those are definitely closed and they're going to be the last things to open. So that's pretty
Yeah.
frustrating, but nothing you can do about it.
It's too bad. Yeah. Were you able to watch any like theater online? Because they had a few things that were
Oh yeah,
open, but
online. I've seen some stuff online, but
yeah,
you know,
not
I
in
got here
person.
and then lockdown happened like a month after I moved.
That's
So.
rough. That's so unfortunate. Um, I also like this is the first like international episode of the Kerner Report,
Ooh.
shall we say? And I wanted to focus kind of more on, I mean, obviously getting your perspective from the UK and everything.
Yeah.
So I have some questions, and
Okay.
then we're gonna it's just gonna kind of naturally pivot into like a segment of US versus UK, but we're not there yet.
Okay. Okay.
Or US or UK.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. But I was just wondering, what are the things that you like the most about the UK?
Wow.
Because
I mean,
yeah.
I think that the US and the UK both have a lot of flaws, but they also have a lot of great things about them. Um, in my opinion, UK has a lot of perks when it comes to, you know, healthcare is free.
Hmm.
Um, you know, when you go to university, you're not going to be in debt for the rest of your life because you don't even start paying it back until you start earning a certain amount. Yeah. So, you know, if you never earn above like whatever the minimum is, you'll never have to pay back your student loans. Um,
That's so nice.
Certain things like that are just, I don't know, kind of like add to quality of life, if that makes sense.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
a stress that's not there as much. And you know, it's just it's very different. I mean, I've been coming here for like my whole life, but I never really realized how different it is, like culturally. Um, People are just very like nice to each other here. You know, you don't get into a lot of like, I don't know, I don't know.
There's
Yeah,
not. Well, here's something I was thinking about. I forget who said this, but someone was like, usually the people who are super patriotic are kind of like racist and
yeah.
stuff. Um, are they like that in the? Because I was looking at before this episode, I was looking and I was saying people usually aren't like crazy like wearing the
Yeah.
Union Jack on stuff.
I mean, it's definitely not the same as the US,
Right.
but it definitely exists. I mean,
Okay.
Brexit happened, right? And there's no way Brexit wouldn't have happened. And the whole thing about Brexit was there was so much false information being spread about what it was. No one really knew what it meant. And you know, I was talking to my cousin about it, and I don't remember what it was on. It was on like the voting ballot or something like that.
Hmm.
It was basically like, do you consider yourself European? If not, Brexit is good. but that's not what it is, you know what I mean? And a lot of people in the US or the UK are like, you know, don't really identify as European because
Yeah.
it's not really, it's like very different.
Interesting.
And so, but you know, I mean, I was here when Brexit like was finalized and like, okay, it happened. And there were fireworks being set off, you know, a lot of that. So it definitely exists. There are definitely people
Yeah.
like that. I personally have not seen it on the same scale as you see it in the US, you know, like there's no like, there are definitely people with like the Union Jack outside their house, but it's not like, it's just not on the same like scale
Not on the
because
same level.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think people in the US are just a lot more like defensive and like, you know, my opinion or
Pro
my opinion, like
they want to be more like patriotic. They want to
yeah,
show off their patriotism.
yeah. I mean, and that's definitely a thing here. Like it's, you
Yeah.
know, but I have not, I mean, I just haven't experienced it on the same level as like
Right. Like even when we were I'm trying to think more like at Windsor, but I guess that's like a
yeah, I mean, that's the other thing though, is we don't have like the royal family. That whole thing is a very interesting dynamic because they don't make the rules anymore, you know what I mean?
right.
Um, but yet like they're like the pride and joy of the country. So it's just a very different way I think that people look at like patriotism.
Right. In like
Um,
that sense, I think they're very like patriotic
yeah, yeah. You know,
because it
I
represents like general
mhm,
like
yeah,
UK-ness,
yeah.
Englandness.
And I was watching a documentary about Diana a couple weeks ago,
Hmm.
and her death and um her funeral or memorial. You know, London
Hmm.
had never been that. I mean, it was the whole city was shut down. You know, everybody went, everybody was there. There were
Hmm.
like so many flowers and everything like that. And like, if a president died in the U.S., it would not be the same. I mean, people were weeping, like
Yeah.
you know, and it's very much you know that would not happen in the U.S. with that type of thing. But it's just very interesting. I think because it's a smaller country, it's more of like a community aspect to patriotism than it is in the U.S. because
Hmm.
you know it's very easy to go everywhere in the UK and it's not really the same thing in the US, you know.
Right. I
Yeah.
think that's a really different dynamic than what
Yeah.
we're used to in the US. Um, so we kind of got off topic though. What are some things besides, or you said healthcare, but is there anything else that you can think of like off the top of your head?
I mean, I don't know. It's like it's hard to like list the things that
Sure.
are, you know.
Hmm.
But I think I mean it's just like
I was gonna say public transit, but
yeah, I mean that to every I just things here are just a lot more like simple, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like it's also like I've experienced it's a lot more of like people trust each other a lot more here than they do in the US. And like I don't know, people are just very friendly, but it's in a very different way too because you know when I when I like leave a store, you know, I go and like pay for something and then I leave. I'm like, "Bye, have a good day." And they always like look at me like I'm crazy. Or like I'll say have a good one and they're like, "What?" Because they don't say that here. They're just like, "Bye," you know.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I really like it here. I do.
That's
I just,
cool.
yeah.
Right, because when we leave a store, we're always like, "Okay, bye, have a nice
Yeah,
day." You
yeah,
know.
exactly.
Wow.
Mm. They're like,
Yeah. Right. They're always like, I just remember being like, we go and they're like, just don't be like too smiley and like
yeah,
happy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because like people are very friendly here. It's just not in like the same like I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like it's like in the U.S. you're very like aggressively kind to people. You know
Right.
what I mean? And here it's a lot more. I feel like it's a lot more genuine here.
But I was looking at differences between Americans and British and British American and British culture.
Yeah.
And and one thing they were saying, like, if you go and you're like in a work setting and you
Mhm.
go and get like you're going to get coffee or tea and you don't offer that to everyone,
Yeah.
that's rude.
Yeah. That's one thing that I was like, oh my goodness, because when I first started working here, my boss was like, I'm making myself a cappuccino. Do you want one? And I was like, sure. Like, okay. I was like, what? But yeah, no, that's definitely true.
Hmm.
I mean, that's okay. That is actually, bring up the coffee and tea thing. That is the one
Yeah.
thing I'm gonna miss the most. People
Mm.
in the US don't know how to have a cup of tea, and it is the most infuriating thing to me because, a cup of tea is a cup of black tea with milk, sometimes sugar if you want sugar, if you don't. And, in the US, when you go to someone's house, you're like, do you have any tea? They're like, yeah, let me show you my tea cabinet. It's full of all these herbal teas, which are
Mhm.
great. Like, I love herbal tea.
Yeah,
But
I'm drinking herbal tea right now.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like, no one wakes up in the morning and goes and like puts on the kettle for a cup of tea. So
Right. No.
when you order tea at a restaurant and they ask like, and I always ask for milk with my black tea because that's how I drink. It's like milk and sugar.
Sure.
And and they like the amount of like, I've got milk in like shot glasses before because they just don't understand. They're like, they don't have little like things for their milk and stuff. I don't know.
Right. Do they do
That's
cream? Cream, maybe?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's funny you brought up coffee and tea because that's where I was going next. In the US, you say tea, and that can mean a million different types of tea. But if you say, "Could I
yeah.
have a cup of tea?" that means black tea.
Yeah, well, I mean, what they what they ask, my mom loves this. Every time we go and out and she gets tea, she's always like, "Oh, it's just my favorite thing to hear." Because she's like, "I'll have a cup of tea," and they're like, "Normal tea," and she's like, "Normal tea." Like, they always check because it's not like
Right.
no one like everyone drinks, But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like if you ask for a cup of tea, you'll get a cup of tea, and they'll put the milk in for you at like Starbucks, and they'll like, so.
hmm I think that's really different because, like you were saying, in the US, you don't assume that it's black tea.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, well, let me bring out our tea selection for
You have the
you.
little carton of all the different
I
options,
was
and you
explaining that
pick
to
your
someone
one.
here, and they were like, "What? They bring?" I was like, "Yep, they bring you like a."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in coffee is really different too, because this is my little research. You fact
Hmm.
check me if I'm wrong. In the US, you have regular coffee, and that
Hmm.
means drip or filter,
Yeah.
right? But if you go to the UK or anywhere in Europe really, and say you want like a cup of coffee, they're not really going to know what you mean, and they're probably going to give you an Americano.
I usually get a latte,
Uh-huh.
so I'm not the greatest person to ask about that, but
Right.
I mean, personally speaking, it is a lot harder to find a good cup of coffee here than it is in the US.
Really.
Like, I've just gone to so many places and I've ordered a coffee and I just like can't drink it because it's so. I mean, like all my family members drink like instant coffee, and I know nobody in the US who drinks instant coffee every morning. Like everyone has a coffee machine. Not a lot of people have coffee machines here because
Wow.
everyone drinks tea.
Hmm.
Well, not everybody, obviously, but yeah, I don't really know. Like I usually get a latte when I like that's what I order when I get
Well,
coffee.
right, right. Well, that makes sense though, because because it's just espresso based.
Yeah,
Yeah. And in the US, it's not espresso based.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
It's just
remember going to when I was in Spain. I don't know, I have this like weird memory of being in Spain, and when I was little, my dad's like, "I want a cup of coffee." And they're like, "We don't know what you mean, you know?" And then he's like, "You want an espresso?" He's like, "No, I want drip coffee." Like we don't know what that is.
I know. It's funny how different coffee is in every single country.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you
Hmm.
wouldn't think that it would be so different, but like yeah, like Spain's a completely different deal with coffee and like
Yeah. And the same thing is, well, I remember having a similar experience in the UK. Like when I did a coffee run for Magnus and
yeah.
myself one morning. It was a late morning. He was a little tired. He was still in bed. I go, Magnus, you want some coffee and croissants? And he goes,
And the
yeah,
place like oh
yeah. So I go, okay. And then I run down, and it was to the high end place just down the street. Do you remember that
yeah,
one? The one
yeah.
that they're like, it's too fancy, and we're like, seems nice, you know.
Exactly.
And I go there and I pick up the little coffees. I'm like, can I have a coffee? And then they're like, and then they give me like the weird look. I'm like, oh, an Americano.
Yeah,
Because I'm an American as fuck. And then I run back, go, here you go, Magnus. And he goes, thank you. And then we just like sat like eating our little croissants in bed. It was the best thing ever. Um, But
I missed that hotel. That hotel was in a good location.
yeah,
And
it's so weird that they switched it.
I know.
Why'd they do that?
And they
Yeah.
had that crepe place, like, or it was like kind of further down, but that
You're talking about
so
was that reaction to the crepes or to the guy making the crepes?
both. Yeah.
Because the guy, because I remember how everyone.
I remember I got a text from Emma like a year and a half ago, whatever. And she
Right.
was like, Zoe, I found the crepe guy on Instagram.
Right. She was telling me that. How did she find him? That didn't make any
No
sense.
idea. I was like, wait, like show me. And she's like, it's gone. Like, I don't know how I found it, but man,
Did she really find him? That's the question.
that is the question. I guess I'll never know.
Yeah.
Maybe
But they were
not.
good crepes.
Yep.
Remember getting an asparagus crepe? It wasn't
Whoa.
too big on it, but it was still like good.
What was in it?
Cheese and asparagus. I
That
think
sounds
onions.
good, actually. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wasn't ready for it. Like it was just kind of like an interesting flavor profile, but I was like,
Sounds
okay.
very, it sounds like, but then like with the cheese and the onions, I feel like it would be.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of wish I got a dessert crepe there though.
That's what I got.
What did you get? Do you
I think
remember?
I
It's
got
so
like,
long ago.
God, like fruit and Nutella probably with like whipped cream or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I was like, how many years ago? Like a very long time ago.
Was that 2 years?
Like 2.5 years.
Yeah. Jeez.
Man, I missed
Man.
that little trip.
Yeah, I went back there to what do you call it? Hampstead.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw Ricky Gervais.
You did not tell me this.
Yeah, I feel like I did, no?
Rick, did you like say hi?
No, I didn't recognize him at first. Because we were walking by, and you know the company Joe and the Juice? It's a US company.
I'm pretty sure.
Actually, I don't know if it is the US company. They have stuff in Australia, and there's one in like the Corte Madera Mall. There's stuff in San Francisco.
It like rings a bell.
But then there's also stuff in London. And I was like, oh, that's funny. There's one in Chelsea, and then there's another one in Hampstead. And maybe it's new because I don't remember seeing it
Yeah, I don't remember
when we were there the first time. But so I go back and we're like, oh, there's a Joe and the Juice. It's like on the side of the crepes. And we go and we get our little juice, and then we start walking down the street. Like, let's walk down the cute little street, and then we're just like kind of hanging out, and this guy goes, dude, this guy's a legend. That's a terrible accent. But he goes, this guy's a legend. And I'm like, oh God, is it a celebrity? Because keep in mind, that trip, we had already seen Jude Law and two people from Sex Ed, the show on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, dude, this guy's a legend, fam. And I was like, what? Like, oh God, it's another one. And then I look over, and this is a guy I completely walked past previously, not paying attention. And I think he was talking with someone who looked really famous as well, probably a celebrity. And he goes, and then the woman like behind, like, so they're sitting in a cafe, and Ricky Gervais is sitting this way, and then this random woman sitting the other way, and the woman looks around. And he goes, "You don't know who this guy is? I gotta get his autograph." He's like getting his autograph, and he's like, "Thank you, blah blah blah." Just like, we're just like, "Oh God," I feel bad for him because the guy
I know
kind of sprung up on him, but it was funny.
He's funny. What award ceremony did he do?
He does the Golden Globes, right?
Yeah, he's just funny, man.
He's just roasting everyone the whole time. It's good.
So fun. And he kept on making jokes about Epstein, and it just made me
I remember there was like a video on YouTube showing his evolution of starting the Golden Globes to his fifth time. And then by the fifth time, he's like, you guys brought me back. You know what you're getting yourselves into.
And it's like every time he comes back on, his beer is like
That's so true. He's like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah. He was like, what did he say? He was like, he was like, just come up, thank your God, and f off. I was like, thank you.
I forgot about that.
For, like the general public.
At the end of I just remember being like, okay, that's it, go home. Go to your
Yeah.
parties. Go. We don't want you here anymore. I was like, wow, he's pretty good. I remember him. I don't know why, but I remember him in the Muppets movie.
I don't, but
There was this Muppets movie that I remember I liked. It was like a little kid, and he was like a nice little guy, like not like a decent person.
yeah.
And then I look at him now, and I'm like, wow, he was really acting there. Some
Yeah.
good acting. Yeah, he's so funny though.
Stuff's good.
Yeah, I remember as soon as the guy got his little autograph, Ricky was gone. Like he just left. He's like, I'm out.
Must be annoying though. Like you're trying to just like mind your business, doing your
Yeah,
thing, and then some like
I mean, I wasn't looking for it, but he looked kind of incognito because he had his little glasses and he
yeah.
had a beard and like just like hair, like his normal hair, and it was like it just like looked like a normal person.
I mean that's what they do. Did I talk about that time that Billy Bob Thornton came into my work in Mill Valley?
No,
And
or maybe you did
and
a long time ago, but I forget.
they're like, don't talk to him. And it was like 9 o'clock. Like we were gonna close soon. He had like sunglasses on and like a hat, and he had like a jacket with his like collar popped up. And I literally just went around and I was like, okay.
You need
Okay.
anything?
I didn't get to. I couldn't say hi or anything.
What is Billy
But that
Bob?
makes sense though. He's just trying to mind his business.
Right. What is he from?
He's like in a bunch of movies.
He's an actor.
Super specific. Yeah, he was he's the when him and Angelina Jolie were like dating and they like wore each other's like teeth or like blood around their necks. I don't know, some wacky shit like that.
Oh, wow, that is wacky shit.
But,
Oh, this guy.
yeah.
Wasn't he in like he's been in a lot.
Yeah.
What was he doing in
I don't know. Apparently he just
Mill
comes
Valley?
sometimes. I have no idea.
Does he live here?
I, no clue.
What is he? And they told you, they said, we know he's coming. Don't talk to him.
No, they're like, he comes sometimes. Just don't talk to him. Like, he doesn't like to be bothered. I was like, geez, well, okay. Like, coming to a family restaurant and, like, not want people to, like, be like, hi.
Yeah. Wow. He was in, I'm looking at his IMDb. He was in Bad Santa.
That
So
was
you know
his.
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that guy.
His name is
Yeah.
really funny. I love his name.
Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Celebrities are weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's transition. Let's get into the segments. We kind of touched on it, but let's get into it. The first one's a loaded question.
All right.
The segment is US or UK.
Oh, okay.
I feel like there should be like a button I click and it has like intro music. Like, dun, 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 dun. Okay. Loaded question. First one. US Mexican food or UK Mexican food?
Don't get me started. I will go off about this. I cannot handle it. Nobody here. So I worked at that burrito place, right?
Right.
And I got hired because they were like, "Can you roll a burrito?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" Like, "Yes." And they were like, "Oh, great. Like, you're hired." I was like, "Do people not?" They're like, "No." I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, I don't know. But also, like, we're from California, so I feel like it's kind of like not the same as the rest of the US. But
Sure.
not even a comparison. Like, I went to Taco Bell, and even I went to like there's like a couple Taco Bells in the UK, and I went to even that I was like, I can't.
Well, I feel like Taco Bell is always like, but
It's like even that is like not even that good. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like they need to know how to make a taco. It's in the name.
No, I'm talking to people. People don't know what a taco is. People don't know what. Yeah.
Okay. It's a difference between having better or worse food, but not knowing what a taco is. It's a problem. It's a big problem. Okay, let's I feel like the difference is more than people realize. So let's break this down. What do you put in a burrito?
What do I put?
Well, in the UK. What do people in the UK put in a burrito?
I have not honestly had that many burritos here because I just make them myself because like.
Well, what do you do when you make them?
I put like everything. I don't know. I like vegetarian burritos. Like I'm not a huge fan of meat in my burrito, but it's just like they don't put that much sour cream. They don't put that much guac. It's usually just like a mix of like meat and some beans and rice and then like.
Okay.
I mean, they're not like the worst things in the universe, but like
Yeah,
it's just
not good.
not the same. It's just not the
What type
same.
of beans
And
do they use?
they have that's another really funny thing because they have like pinto beans and black beans usually, but no one knows
Okay.
what pinto beans are. So when I was working at that burrito place, they'd be like, the brown ones. They're like, yeah. And
You mean
like they
the
didn't know how to they would ask me if jalapenos were spicy, but they'd call them like jalapenos.
wait, say that again?
Like jalapenos.
Oh, they don't yeah. Oh man. So they don't like spice. That's another thing, right?
I mean, plenty of people do, but I feel like in
Okay.
general, French food is a bit more like salty than spicy. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Okay, so we've got a clear 1-0 for US on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um Second one, I feel like this is also kind of a low question. US or UK weed?
Don't get me started on that either. I'm gonna start getting mad. No, definitely US.
Why?
I mean, here's the thing. We're from like one of the best places in the world to get weed, right? Like
Yeah.
California is just incredible. And also what comes with having it be like legal, because I use it for medical purposes.
Right.
Um, and it really, because I have fibromyalgia, and so there's no medication for that. I mean, there is, but nothing actually like that works.
Yeah.
So I've found that weed is like the only thing that helps me. And I don't smoke weed all day every day. I use like like topical treatments, and I found a really good balance on using like very low dosage edibles that kind of just don't get you high but just kind of like help
Mm-hmm.
with that. So but what comes with like having it be legal is like, you can really like get into different variations, different types. Everybody's really into strains in California, like stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
And here, like, no one knows what strain it is. It all tastes like, just like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like the worst
Where do they
stuff.
get it? Do
I don't
people
even
grow it in the
know.
UK?
Like,
You don't even know? Is it imported?
yeah,
Imported weed?
yeah,
Um, have you seen the movie with Matthew McConaughey? I'm forgetting the name, but I know it's with Matthew McConaughey. Matthew
quite possibly, but I could not tell you.
McConaughey. The reason I'm bringing it up, oh, it's called The Gentleman.
I think maybe, but hold on.
It's all about weed.
I have the memory of a goldfish. Um, oh, no, that's the one that came out last year. I did not see that. I really wanted to, and then I think it came out like right before I was leaving. When did it come out? Let me look this up.
It
No,
was
it came out,
2019.
yeah, it came out right when I was leaving.
Yeah.
And then I just never, like,
It's
I completely forgot about it.
it's all about weed in the UK.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I should watch.
It's by Ricky or not Ricky. I was gonna say Ricky Gervais. It's Guy Ritchie. Guy
Okay,
Ritchie.
I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, check it out. I thought it was really good, and I think you would like
Yeah,
it
no,
too.
I really wanted to watch it.
Yeah,
It just completely left my brain. I literally like completely forgot about it until now.
it's like a mix between like James Bond,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like a weed drug bust story thingy. I don't know how to describe it. It's really it's like it really is like a unique. And but then there's this whole like thing about one of the narrators being like an actor, like it's like or like writer. It's weird. Just check it.
Did you see what was that? What is it called? It was like a Netflix original, but like Meryl Streep was in it. It was the weirdest. Hold up, let me figure this out because I have so many mixed thoughts about it.
Also, UK and US Netflix, you were saying, are two different things.
Oh yeah, they're completely different. At first when I got here, I was like, oh my god, like UK Netflix is so good. It's got so many things that the US, and now I'm like, oh my god, I can't even watch The Office because it's The Office UK here. I can't watch Office US here.
Oh, that's
They don't
frustrating.
have Criminal Minds, and you know how much I watch Criminal Minds, man. Like, that shit is on repeat all the time.
Yeah. Do they have some of the stuff that's the same though? A few
Yeah, but
things?
not that much because I was doing like like Netflix Party.
No, they don't.
It's like this thing that you can do where you can like sync up your Netflix to other people's Netflixes, so you're like watching the same thing at
What?
the same time.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's pretty sick. But I was trying to do it with like people in the US, And it took us so long to find something that was like on both of our Netflixes. The Laundromat. You should watch it. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I want to know what you think about it because it's very interesting. It's a really good cast.
It's Meryl Streep, Gary Oldman, Antonio
Mm-hmm.
Banderas,
Mm-hmm.
Sharon Stone, David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer, my favorite. Oh, I love David Schwimmer.
That's a good cast.
I didn't know he was in it, and then it was like I was like, "Is that David Schwimmer?" I was like, "Man, he's old." Like,
Yeah. Oh my god, that's good. Which Netflix would you say is better? US or
I
UK?
take both of them and combine them into like one Netflix.
Yeah, why don't they do that? That'd be cool.
Because there are things that I really don't understand why they're not on Netflix in the US. But then there's some stuff I'm like, come on, like I just want to watch Criminal Minds. Like, why you gotta?
Oh, you gotta take that away from us.
Really?
So mean. God, Netflix and their ways of making money. Well, I mean, it's like pivoting to the audience, but at the same time,
they took that '70s show off of Netflix.
Not that '70s show. I don't know. I've never seen it. I've never seen
So
the show.
good.
Here's another. It might be a loaded question. Might not be.
Okay.
UK snacks or US snacks?
Ooh, this is an interesting question because I think it depends on what type of food you like. You know what I mean? Like I miss Trader Joe's with my whole entire being, and you can't get stuff like Trader Joe's here. You know what I mean? I mean, like you can. The other thing that's very interesting about at least how I've found it is like like the US is very like a one-stop shop. Like you go, you can get everything that you need. Like, but here, like I go to the produce store, and then I go to the butcher's, and then I go to the bakery, and then I go over to the supermarket to get like, I don't know, like pasta and like rice or whatever, and whatever, like snacks, stuff like that. But like you very much have to find different stores that sell the type of thing that you like. I mean, I also like eat pretty healthy, so like that's a little bit tricky because it's just like not really. I mean, coming from like California where like everything is like, there's a health food store everywhere, and like
gluten-free, dairy-free.
Right. Everyone always assumes that I'm like I've got a bunch of dietary restrictions here. They're like, so what's your, and I was like, no, I don't have any, and they're like, what? You're from California. I'm like, I know, and I don't have any dietary restrictions.
That's incredible. Right.
What did you think? Because when we went to London, like, did you like the snacks here better, or did you like them in the US?
I mean, I would say that they were fun. Like they're so much more imaginative and interesting. Maybe that's just because it's a new type of snack, but like new stuff. But like the names are funny too, like digestives. Like that just doesn't sound appealing at all.
I love digestives.
But then they taste really good.
Yeah.
And it was like, and also there's like Monster Munch or something. Is that one? I'm forgetting. I was looking at something. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. There's like Walkers, right? And then there's like wine gums, which sounds like an alcoholic mom's like snack at 10 in the morning.
The chocolate here is better.
The chocolate is better.
Chocolate is a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's the brand?
Cadbury.
Yeah, is awful in the US.
Yeah.
And
Hershey's
here. Hershey's doesn't exist here. That's something nice. Very weird. My family had never had s'mores before. We were having like a family barbecue, and they like bought a fire pit recently, and I was like, oh my god, we should do s'mores. And they were like, what?
Oh, they don't know about s'mores. You got to teach them.
I had to order graham crackers on Amazon because they don't sell them here.
Oh my god.
I was like, whatever, it's fine.
Wow. But did they like it?
Yeah, they loved them. I mean, s'mores are the best.
Yeah. Who can hate s'mores? Oh my god, that's so good though. You're teaching them about US snacking habits and fire. At Muir Beach, it's really cool. They have you ever had bonfires at Muir Beach? It's really nice. I did it like a month ago with like family friends. It was really sweet.
All the time. And like sophomore and junior year, that was like
no way. Yeah. I wasn't on that trend back then, but like after being with my grandparents for a year and they're fire
Mhm.
keepers and they're constantly making fires, so now I like know how to make fires, like
Yeah, yeah,
I'll say
yeah.
like pretty decently. uh
Mhm.
so I was like making the little fire, and then we like had the issue with it though, you're supposed to dig a little hole.
Yeah.
I didn't dig, I just put it on top. It
That's
worked
that's
eventually,
the whole
it
thing.
just took so much longer.
Yeah. Well, also because of the wind, like,
Right,
yeah.
exactly, yeah, the wind was just going
And
nope,
putting it
nope.
out is a lot easier to put out a bonfire if it's in a hole because you just fill the hole.
Yeah.
But like,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really miss bonfires. I mean, people do bonfires here because there's like, what is it called, Guy Fawkes Night or whatever, where you like burn
What
the
is it?
effigy. It's like a bonfire night, and you like burn like an effigy of this guy that tried to blow up Parliament like a really long time ago, and it's like this huge thing.
Hmm.
But like, and again, like the Bay Area is not like the rest of the U.S., so like but I do miss like bonfires and stuff like that, and like the beach, like going to the beach all the time
Hmm.
is.
Yeah, you're not near a beach right now, right?
I'm on the coast, so I can go to a beach easy-ish.
How far away would you say from the
It
coast?
depends. It just depends on where you want to go.
Which
Um,
coast? Oh, no, I don't know.
I mean, because my family lives on a seaside town, so there's a beach there, but it's a pebble beach with no waves. So it's not the same thing. It's very different. And it's also um a really big port is in that town. It's like England's biggest port.
Hmm.
So the water is, oh my god, so gross, like brown.
That's not good. No
Like
bueno.
not swimmable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, next question.
Hmm.
It's kind of along the snack idea. We kind of got onto it, but candy in general, we can kind of say,
I think it's better here.
I think so too.
I miss some of my American candy, but it's just a bit better here, I think.
I like that they do all the like it could still like good, it tastes really good, but it like doesn't have all the crap in it, or like most of
Yeah.
the crap in
The
it,
taste is like,
it tastes more fruity.
they have a lot of American candy stores here though, which I find really funny because
I
they're not
noticed that.
American.
Really, I saw stuff that
Like,
was like it was
like,
like Sour Patch Kids. I was like, okay.
no, but it was like Sour Patch Kids cereal, and I have never in my life. They're like real American cereal, and it's like Sour Patch Kids cereal. I'm like,
Oh wow.
like they have some stuff that you like. I went in and I got a Twinkie, and I was like, oh,
Oh yeah. No, I had one of those ones. It wasn't it's not that great.
no, they suck. They're awful.
Yeah. I remember being like, it's a Twinkie, everyone loves Twinkies. I was like, I don't.
And you're like, ugh. They like
What
make
kind
your
of
teeth hurt.
Yeah, it's like you're eating it, and you're like, what is happening to my mouth? Very cool. Well, that's it for the segments. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I want to do the announcements as always. I have these little announcements.
Okay, go for it.
They're
Let's
so
hear
cute. I'm sure that people are fed up with them, but I
your podcast. What do you want to do, man?
don't.
All up to you.
All right, go follow the Kerner Report podcast YouTube channel for full episodes and TKR podcast clips. For clips and highlights, go to teespring.com/shop/TK Report for the Kerner Report Essentials merch drop. We have some great stuff on there. So go grab some merch and support the podcast. New episodes are up every Saturday. Next week, I'm joined with Lauren, so stay tuned. Here, I just want to show you. I'm not wearing it, but I did have it. I have merch. Look.
You have merch?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
It looks great.
Thank you.
I
Keep
love
selling it. Keep going. Keep going.
Where is
No.
it?
Oh,
Okay.
it's on. Oh, you need it. It's on TK, but teespring.com/TK Report.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'll find it later.
thank you so much for coming on. It's been awesome.
For having me. It's been
Live
great.
from the UK,
Yes.
Zoe Taylor-Wolland.
Come back and see you guys.
100%.